Well, hello and welcome to the Mission News Network, bringing you all the latest news from LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed. Now, today we have a little bit of a grab bag of information. This is kind of a video I've been putting off for a little bit, about a week now. Whenever the different, app icons, not leak, but people found the app icons changed to characters who aren't in the game yet. Wanted to kind of do something about that then, but I kind of wanted to see if I get a little bit more information from the CCP, but it kind of been like, well, see, today's the 17th, I'm recording this. I think I last heard from them on the 4th of October, so like it kind of been a bit. Wanted like a couple of speculation videos, and I do actually even have one recorded that I was still editing before today, but I have got some more information in, so I'm gonna try to go through all of it. I got different bits throughout the day, so while making this, I got like new stuff that kind of changed bits, so sorry if it's a little bit kind of scattered brain. I just kept on getting new and different things to cover. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the first thing. Got a message from Maria when I woke up this morning. Basically was this image. But she wanted us to do something about how the Halloween SNS, which I think I'd ask somebody what that meant. Social networks. Oh gosh, what did it mean? Social network services, I guess. One of those little sort of inbox messages sort of event things is happening again starting tomorrow. At least that's what she said this morning when I woke up. So it should be starting Tuesday, but maybe a little bit later, I don't know. Time zone stuff, but I don't think it should work that way. So it should be tomorrow. But this is going to be both on Facebook and Instagram, which I think that stuff is now being posted in the announcements channel. So if anybody isn't on there, if it's on Discord, you should hopefully be able to see it on there. And it's going to be happening in the inbox, and will include gifts similar to what they did last year for Halloween. So we might get gifts starting tomorrow, or it might be every other day. I don't exactly remember how it was last year. I know we got some inbox rewards, but I don't remember if it was going for a bit on Facebook first before we got the inbox gifts. I mean, there hasn't been a game update, so it couldn't be anything really new, but it might be some of the spooky characters, I guess. At least the existing ones. So there is that. A little bit of news. Billy's will make the video on first, but I have since gotten some more news. So moving on, we have the app icon images. So if people were getting, I believe this was the first one that showed up for people. There was a second set a couple days later, but this is Ruiner Stoneheart, if I remember correctly, from Nexo Knight. It's got a couple different poses, although two of these look they're almost the same. I think you got a little bit different color with the lightning there. Nothing too drastically different, but we have a couple different ones there. So this was kind of our first character, I guess, teaser, you might say. So this is her. She was an enemy from Nexo Knights from the second, I'm going to use the word arc. I can't remember if it was actually wave or not. I don't remember how. I think at least the first arc lasted 2 waves, maybe 3, like a year and a half. I know there was a couple extra sets released in that first batch. I think the second arc maybe was a little bit smaller, but this was when it wasn't Maelstrom. I don't remember what Maelstrox, I think might have been the villain's name. When he became like a cloud and zapped lightning at statues and brought them to life. She's a statue that was brought to life. I believe she was supposed to be a statue of the sister of the wizard, the good wizard in that series, which named was Murloc, I believe. He was also like a hologram or something. He became like a computer. I don't really remember the Nexo Knights lore. But she was the statue of his sister, but had a different name. But this is just the evil thing brought to life. So we have her. Very interesting there. And I was going to make a bunch of stuff off of this. Cause like, ooh, we might be getting Nexo Knights. There's a bunch of different things you could do there. I had a whole video planned to do about how this might be the hot update, because a lot of the enemies from the first arc of Nexo Knights were very magma fire themed, and if we got some of those in, we could get a little bit of stuff different there with Nexo Knights. If we got 1 or 2 from the first wave, those probably would be hot, and that would be 2 more things for the hot tag. maybe put a couple other characters with the heart tag, and this could be the whole heart update. But that kind of got dashed when we got the second image. Oh, sorry, second set of images. This one, I actually got one of these. I don't remember which one it was, but I didn't actually have the first one show up for me. But I do actually have one of these, and this is Frankenstein's monster. Though technically, Monster Butler, because this was from a Monster Fighters set, one of their special, really nice set. It was the Haunted House. It was like maybe $200, $150. It's kind of like a big, similar to those modular buildings, but it wasn't like a modular building. It was a little bit smaller than that, but had lots of nice detail on there. So a little bit special. Wasn't just one of the like basic play sets. Things a little bit more of a display set. But he was the like butler for that haunted mansion, basically that haunted house, which is also kind of interesting. So you have Ruiner, who was from Nexo Knights, which was a castle thing. Well, you have Monster Butler, who is from Monster Fighters, which is a theme, one of the like kind of one-off action themes, you would say, or I guess I would say, that LEGO has released over the years. Very different, and not really anything else in the game to really fit him in, but it's pretty neat there. So we're probably getting both of these characters, I would assume. No guarantees though. I think Maria said something about these were like tests. I wasn't exactly to say that means we're not getting them, but I mean, I guess they could be unrelated. They both seem like they could be spooky though, so they seem like they could be for a Halloween update. But I guess, to be honest, no guarantees there, although I would hope maybe it's kind of like last year's Halloween update. We got 4 figs, but this time they're just from 4 unrelated sort of themes. Would be really cool for a Halloween update. But also later this morning, I got this from Tiny Trooper. Well, we got a different message from him first, asking if we would like to go ahead and have one of the kits released this week, well, today. Or wait till next week to get all of them. And I'm like, yeah, we'll go ahead and take one. So he's going to send the draft over, which sounds a little bit weird. I feel like they would have finalized. But somebody pointed out this might be rough draft, but it might not be the official translation. I mean, he is Ukrainian, so English might not be. I'm pretty sure English is likely not his first language, so some stuff in here could be wrong. It is subject to change, so all this might not be the final stuff. Maybe some of the buffs are a little bit different, or it looks a little bit different. But I just want to go ahead and bring this up, and I want to include this because I think that makes sense. Would probably be why it's not finalized, is they might want to have a little bit of a better translation go over it to make sure everything's right. Because I feel like these kits would probably be finished if it's coming out in like a couple of weeks. But so here is the character we know. We know Ruiner Stoneheart. This is what she looks like. She is the one who I have a kit for. Don't know who else we're getting. Might be one other fig. Might be a couple figs. Could be a set. Who knows? Somebody pointed out there was King Leo Castle? Lion King. The castle that's not built in the game was the one in the background of her, one of the app icon images. So I mean, it could be that, or they could just be using it for extra flavor for the images. Who knows? I don't have that information. Looks like we'll find out next week, so probably look out for next Thursday. Might have a good video to do on that. But here we go with Ruiner Stoneheart. For her basic, we have Lightning Scythe. Deals 100% damage to target foe, has a 60% chance to inflict dizzy for 2 turns. Ruiner has a 50% chance to increase her pep by 15% and 75% chance to gain 1 stack of charge. So she's using charge, which seems like it might be similar to what we did with Jay. Almost kind of seemed a little bit like Jay, almost like Jay mixed with Santa. Good chance to inflict dizzy for 2 turns, pretty good. And she also has a chance to increase her pep. I mean, that's also kind of nice. I mean, it's not the most. I mean, it's 15%, but hey, she could go a little bit speedy. And a good percent chance to gain 1 stack of charge. And now for a special one, we have Burst of Lightning. Deals 70% damage to all foes, plus 15% bonus damage for each stack of charge on Ruiner. Clears all stacks of charge. Has a 50% chance to inflict bricked and passive block for 2 turns. So kind of imagine Jay's S2, I believe, his second special. Seems basically kind of like that, a big AoE attack, but this also has a chance to inflict mass passive block. I mean, 60% chance, but if you're attacking 5 enemies at once, that should be at least on 2 or 3 of them. I mean, 2.5 would average out. So I mean, that's not too bad. Also, bricked. I'm not sure if that's a separate chance for that, or will they get both of them. I mean, I'm not sure how exactly that will work here. So I mean, maybe you get some get bricked, some get passive block. I don't know. They all wind up with it. But seems like she will be a wanted character to fight new collectibles. If she can do AoE passive block on them, that will stop Chili Girl from giving people damage immunity when you kill them. Santa should stop retaliating, although I'm not sure that fully works. Although I think only gens can give that ability, or debuff, maybe somebody else. I know some people can do one of any kind of them, but some of those are older characters. They might not have some of the newer debuffs. I can't remember if Willa can technically give that with the basic. But this will be, I think, greatly useful for fighting them. Also, this should stop all of Mr. Gold's passives, which includes him using his extra abilities. Because I was talking to somebody about this, I'm like, well, Gold will still just clear this from people. Well, I mean, I guess assuming you get it to actually Gold too, but that will at least stop him from using his passive to use all of his abilities kind of at once and cleanse all debuffs from the enemy team. He can still use that ability itself, although if he also has Brick, that also at least do a little bit of damage to him there too. But so this is something that might be useful for fighting teams with Gold on them, Gold and Chili, and basically the new collectibles. The new collectible sort of stall team, if you will. Next up we have the second special, Charged Up. Heals herself for 15% of Ruina's max health plus 5% bonus for each stack of charge. So a total of perhaps 40% health. Clears all stacks of charge. So pretty basic. Deals 100% damage to target foe, plus 10% bonus damage for each stack of charge cleared. So lots of good damage here. I mean, that's 150% damage. I mean, I guess if she has a good attack. But I feel like this will probably be pretty useful. Ruina regains 2 stacks of charge. Doesn't say there's any requirements, the amount of charges needed to be able to regain that. And gains payback and max health up 2 for 2 turns. Pretty useful here. Basically, this will give you a bunch of charge back from using this. I mean, you could even have 0 stacks of charge, use this, and you gain 2 stacks of charge. Gain payback, so you'll be using your basic, which has 75% chance, 50% chance, I can't remember what the chance was, to give you a stack of charge, because there's lots of people who have AoE attacks or attacks hit all people. I mean, it's not all people, but Gold can hit a couple people at once, if I remember correctly. Reaper's basic does. Most of his other attacks hit a couple people at a time. Of course, Andreas hits everybody with his basic, so this would allow you to pay back, which does damage, also does dizzy, so it's kind of like Santa. And then you also gain some more stacks of charge to do more stuff. Also some stuff later with the passive. And max HP up too is not too bad either. Honestly, seems a little bit like it could almost be useful for giving her taunt, perhaps? I don't know. It could be pretty useful, especially if you have on a team, I guess, with Magisto, so she heals as well. But I can see this being pretty useful. Might even be an opener. I mean, this is a good way to give you a couple stacks of instant charge, so you might not really use this too much as a heal. Also does good damage too. I'll say good damage. 100% damage is not too bad. It's a heal, damage, and it gives you stacks of charge. So I mean, this might be a good opening move. At the very beginning of the match, you use this, deal 100% damage to whoever you're targeting, and you get 2 stacks of charge. And payback and max health up too. And now we have her first passive, Stoneheart. Whenever Ruina takes damage from a foe, she has a 50% chance to gain 1 stack of charge, which is also really good. So she gets attacked, she has a chance to gain charge. So like I say, with payback, which I mean it's kind of what you wanted to get attacked when she has payback. So she has a chance she gains charge just from that. Though also, I mean, I guess if you throw taunt on her, there's a chance she might be gaining 2 stacks of charge every attack. If Ruiner's health falls below 30%, Ruiner gains 5 stacks of charge, so it instantly fills up. I don't believe you go above 5. And 70% pep. So basically, she'll take another move instantly, and gains prepare, so she'll crit. The next attack she has will crit, and all of her abilities deal damage, so that's pretty good. Also, she'll have 5 stacks of charge, so she'll do maximum damage. And then we have passive number 2, Supreme Witch. Whenever Ruiner clears 1 plus stack of charge, so at least 1, she gains 10% pep per stack of charge cleared. So if she clears 1, 10%, she clears 5, she gets 50%. Whenever Ruiner takes damage, that damage is reduced by 10% for each stack of charge on her. So if she has 5 stacks of charge, it gets reduced by 50%. So I mean, honestly, I could almost see having her as like a sort of tank for limited time. Like you throw taunt on her, you use her heal, so she gets payback. She gets payback, and you have taunt on her. She gains 2 stacks of charge there, and she has a good chance of gaining charge anytime she gets attacked. She'll probably get to max stacks pretty quickly, I would think. And then she takes 50% damage, which, I mean, I don't know what that does if you also have the thing where she takes what? Is it, I can't remember if that one ability is it boosts your defenses by 50% or it reduces damage taken by 50%. So, like, could you have both of those and you get minus 100% damage from those? I don't know. But that's a lot of stuff there working in tandem with each other. I don't know if that would be ideal, but that's just my first thoughts looking at this. Like, this would almost seem somewhat useful for a tank in a way. But I'm assuming she's probably an attacker because all of her abilities deal damage. She has a little bit of some support stuff, I guess. She can heal herself. Does a decent bit of stuff with debuffs, but I kind of feel like it would make sense to just make her an attacker. But here's her full kit here if anybody wants to read it all together. Double checking her basic. 60% chance to inflict dizzy, and she has a 75% chance to gain 1 stack of charge. So 75% chance to gain a stack of charge when she attacks with payback. But if she uses payback, that means she got attacked, which means she had also a 50% chance to gain a stack of charge. Decent, I think, chance there that she will gain 2 stacks of charge if she gets attacked with all of that. But I do want to do a little bit of speculating right here at the end. Now, looking at her, with this being Halloween, I feel like there's a good chance a tag she might have to be spooky. I mean, I feel like everything Halloween related will probably be spooky. I think there's a good chance. I think a lot of the other enemies that were doing the same wave as her were supposed to be gargoyles. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of okay enough to be spooky. I guess she's a little bit less so than some of the others. Like, I might put her at one of the lower end of the spooky from the ones from her same wave, maybe even at the lowest end. But a good chance she's going to have that. I did ask Tiny what the tags might be. He said he can only confirm at this time it's going to be Castle, but he'll give more later, probably when we get the full kits of everybody. Also see if I can get some more information about tags for all of them then too, because like knowing that Fright Night was going to be chill would have been kind of interesting to know at the time. A part of me can almost maybe see them being this character also being chill. I think sometimes in some of the lore, gargoyles supposed to have like cold skin or something, living statue maybe, and it's still a little bit weak there. That's one thing I was thinking of earlier when we first saw the icons. looking at her, I feel like there's a good chance she could be magical. I mean, her second passive is called Supreme Witch. When you think of witches, they use magic, magical. That would kind of make sense. But she also has a bunch of stuff in her kit for lightning. Lightning Scythe, Burst of Lightning, Charge Up. Also, her basic really reminds me kind of Jay with it using Charge. Now, I don't, not saying that Charge has to be a techie yellow buff, but it kind of makes me think of that. Could she be techie? Also, all of Nexo Knights was pretty much like Techno Castle. Maybe that's going to be a thing. I don't know. It kind of could make sense. Honestly, I could see this Halloween update being the techie Halloween, but we'll get into a little bit more of that after we finish with her kit. I think there was like one other one I was thinking of. Oh yes, a little bit of a stretch. King's Court. She's a statue of the sister who I think was also supposed to be like a wizard, witch, something. That was the sister of the king's wizard, I guess. I don't know. Kind of sounds like Magisto, basically. That series, Magisto, was her brother. I don't know. Maybe that means that the real form of her was also like the court magician. So maybe she could get King's Court. Because I think actually having her a bit maybe with some of the new King's Court fix could actually be kind of interesting. At least another cool yellow buff going on there. But perhaps I think that's a little bit less likely. If I had to go with anything, I'm feeling the most like of course Castle, Spooky, probably techie. I mean, Nexo Knights, I could see anything Nexo Knights almost getting techie. She had like a motorcycle pulling a chariot. She does a bunch of stuff with lightning, which I mean not the most like technological, but lightning powers, techno knights stuff. It feels like it would match, and also there's a little bit more going on to it. Also magical. I kind of feel magical is a good chance. I mean, she's supposed to be a supreme witch, so magical. Techie magical would also be kind of cool, I will be perfectly honest. But I think that's really it for her. But now I want to go talk about a couple other things. I want to do a couple other maybe speculation videos, but honestly, with how random some of this stuff seems, I don't know if I could really even just pick it out. I might do one, like what other random things could there be, though I also don't really want to do that since we know at least 2 of the figs, and lots of past updates have been 2 figs. 2 figs in a set. One was 3 figs, so we might could get a little bit more, but I don't want to be acting like there might be more that we're going to be getting, and it might just be 2 figs or something. No idea if this is going to be a new event, reworked event, what. I kind of feel like a new event since there was a gap in the calendar. I feel like there's a good chance it might start October 28th. No confirmation, that's just my own pure speculation there, but I feel like a new event then, because if it was just rerunning Malicious Malice, you could have just stuck it on there. That would have made me think even perhaps less like we were maybe getting new stuff, because that was the Halloween event from last year. They could just be rerunning that for Halloween. So I felt like personally something new, but I'll try to share that information whenever I get it, or can share it at least. But with a little bit more speculation, with the Monster Butler from Monster Fighters, I feel like with him, I don't know what his main tag would be. Maybe collectible, although they might just use him as adventurer, because that was kind of Lego's like one-off action sort of theme there. So maybe it's not really a main tag, but maybe that'll be the new grab bag for it. Throw that there. I don't feel like collectibles really matches. Castle, none of that stuff exactly matches for him. They could be adding in something new, I don't know. But I feel like the Monster Butler that is basically Frankenstein's monster will be spooky. That said, I also feel like there's a good chance he will be techie. Frankenstein's monster is pretty techie. You are electrocuting a corpse to bring it back to life. I mean, it's a little bit more old school techie, out the mad scientist levels, but I feel like that kind of fits for techie. A spooky techie character like that would be pretty cool. If Ruiner is also techie, I feel like that kind of matches with him, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, maybe all the stuff we're going to get could be techie, spooky characters. An interesting idea, in my opinion. But looking at that, for other speculation for him, the only other one I could really turn up is perhaps King's Court. But that one is very much so a stretch. So I get King's Court does probably sound like a stretch. Now the only reason I go with that is he is a servant of Lord Vampire, and at least within the normal theme, the biggest set they had was Lord Vampire's castle. So he was a lord of a castle, kind of like a king. Dracula was, I forgot what they thought he was. Was it kind of like Vlad the Impaler? I think some stuff kind of from that. Not up to date fully on my vampire mythos, but kind of was supposed to be like a little bit of a king. This is a butler working for a king. Maybe King's Court. I think that's definitely a stretch, but that could be an interesting kind of other tag to give him. I mean, I guess besides techie, spooky, and techie, adventurer maybe. I don't know what like main tag or whatever you want to put him under, like that kind of category. And then you could give him that. But maybe, although techie might be good enough. I mean, techie might be all these people are getting. Though I still think Ruin has a good chance she could also be magical. But I did want to share some speculation with that, and just looking at some of the stuff with both of them, all of her lightning abilities, Nexo Knights being very techie with some of its knights. I mean, they all had like flying, robotic horse bike things that they flew on instead of actually riding horses. The like bow was basically a gun. Laser blaster, lots of laser shooters on different things. It's kind of a techie. Also, her having charge just instantly makes me think of Jay and Jay's Cyber Dragon. That also gives people charge. Like, maybe you would use her on a team with Jay, or that could be a way to bring Jay's Cyber Dragon kind of back in. Like, you maybe use her, use Jay, some other stuff as a new techie sort of team. Maybe bring Techie and Jay Cyber Dragon back into the meta. I don't know. Honestly, it sounds weird and unexpected for a Halloween update to me. But I could see it. Especially something I was speculating, like, could we be getting one of the ghosts or something from Ninjago? I mean, we have City of Styx. That was from that sort of wave, so that would work. I mean, we could get one of the Skullkin as well, and they could just reuse a bunch of the skeletons animations for those guys as an easy to add in thing, and get us another like random update. Ninjago could still kind of use more love. That would work with Jay's Cyber Dragon, with it also giving, if I remember correctly, some of Ninjago characters buffs. That would give it a buff as well. I mean, it wouldn't be techie focused, but still kind of spooky maybe? I don't know. There's lots of weird stuff we could be getting here, but all that is like very speculative, because at least with these two very unrelated themes to me, it's hard to kind of figure out what else we might be getting. I mean, it could be somebody from Pharaoh's Quest. We could be getting a random Monkey Kid minifigure, maybe somebody from Legends of Chima. I mean, they had bats, spiders, scorpions, wolves, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, all of that kind of stuff. Alligators, mammoths, saber-toothed tigers. Those could all kind of maybe work in here as spooky somewhere. Tons of collectibles. Basically my video that I recorded before this that I still want to release while I was speculating, or just going through my own collection of different things. Probably a little bit outdated now that we have this new information, but I might recommend checking that out. See what you think of that. But sorry about that. Somebody called, not important. I had like a minute left. Also, I recorded that last like minute, but apparently didn't record it, so I'm having to re-record it now. Kind of really lost my train of thought, so sorry about that. But basically, it's hard for me to kind of make a speculation about what we might be getting, since when it was just going to be maybe Nexo, so we just had that like reveal of Ruiner. I could make a decent one on just, okay, what else from Nexo Knights. When we got the stuff for Monster Fighters, that is a theme that's not really connected to anything else we have in the game, and it's opening up the possibilities for perhaps getting other themes not in the game, maybe other characters as well, maybe from some stuff we have in the game, some stuff that we don't. Assuming we even get more than just 2, it could end at 2. It could be one more character from Nexo Knights and one more character from Monster Fighters. Cause I will be honest, Monster Butler isn't too big of an interesting character to me after all the stuff they have in Monster Fighters. But yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to make a good speculation video for that. But yeah, that's kind of where we are. I'll do any more videos whenever I do get any more information to be able to make videos with. But not exactly sure. For some reason I'm feeling like next Thursday. No real reason. I mean, I guess it would probably be starting the event soon by then, although it might be. Honestly, the reason I feel like it is next Thursday, my dad's going into the hospital for more surgery, and I'll be there for most of the day with him. And the last couple of times they have done an upper day, I've gotten the stuff while I've been sitting in the hospital waiting room. Literally, when I got the kits for Fright Night, Lionel and Royce, I was at the hospital till about maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just being able to look at them on my phone, not being able to make any sort of news video or anything for them. And it kind of just makes me feel like that's what's going to happen again. Lots of times whenever I get big news for this game, I am busy doing something, likely at the hospital with a family member, and it kind of makes me feel like this is going to be what happens again, though hopefully we'll get them a little bit sooner than that, maybe even next Monday, who knows. But whenever I do get any more information that's like newsworthy, I'll try to make something. If it's even small, I might try to do a couple more of those, especially if we do some stuff approaching Halloween. Now we also are getting the SNS stuff starting tomorrow. I don't know if it's just going to be on Facebook and Instagram. Will it be in the inbox? Both, or will the stuff be posted on Discord or not? I think Maria's going to be reposting some of the stuff from Facebook and Instagram now onto there. Honestly, that's probably the more interesting stuff to repost on Discord as well. So maybe we'll get some more information about what we'll be getting. Who knows? Honestly, would be really cool to maybe go ahead and get some of that stuff. Maybe they go ahead and name a character like Bob Skullkin or something. But who knows? So yeah, just gonna look out for more stuff coming up. This is Tor Gripply. Thank you for being here for this whole video. Look forward to making some more in the coming days. Have a good day, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye. Also, I hope this is recorded this time.